Hello, everybody. Okay. Um, for everybody coming in, this is Journey's, the second part two of her story. We left off yesterday, and we want to continue that today. Uh, I know there's not a lot in here yet, but as people come in, I just want to remind everybody about our new um, housekeeping rules. I'm going to run this. If you see red light in the chat, if you see something in the chat that needs to be addressed or needs to be concerned or you're concerned about, please type red light in all capital letters and we will stop everything we're doing. So if something concerns you, please just type red light. If someone misses it, keep typing it, we will get it and the mods will get it. So I just want to make sure that y'all know that. And I am going to, wait, let me go here. And take that off for just a second, and I'm going to go ahead and give everybody the trigger warning now. And it'll also be posted in the chat. So, well, I would say, let's just see what we got here. Okay. And I'm sorry, I am on call for work, so you're probably going to hear a lot of dinging. But there is nothing I can do about that right now. Okay. And I think that pretty much does it. We'll post the trigger warning, but I do want to put the red light back on for a little while, just as a reminder until everybody gets used to it. And I appreciate it. And I am going to bring Journey to the stage and on stage and let her continue with her story. And I know that people will be filtering in. This is a pretty much early live during the day for everyone. And if you were like me, I was in there watching my Cowboys lose, so I was really upset. I had to turn it off. But here is Journey. We have Marilyn backstage. She's going to be doing the comments for me. I appreciate that on such a short notice. Thank you is not enough. So here is Journey. Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I'm glad you're back on.
Yeah.
It's how's the weather?
Actually cooler. It's windy and it's fall weather. So it's been in the 90s and hundreds for the past since May.
That's my kind of weather.
Yeah, I know. Oh man.
I am in the South for a reason. I like that. I do not do cold. I told Marilyn I wanted to come see her. I was like, but I can't do cold. I can't do cold. I am such a wimp when it comes to cold. It makes my body hurt.
Yes.
But yeah, I just oh, okay. Well, we'll have people pouring in. I'm sure that everybody was excited and waiting, and it should be notifying everybody about that. Although my phone, I apologize about the noise.
Oh no, that's fine. Yeah.
I'm
I'm
on call for work, so
that's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we
Apologize.
were at the part. Well, I don't like to be rude, but I just happened to be on call the weekend before the full moon, so it could get a little bit interrupted. So, okay. Well, I am going to let you start where we left off, which was the dog. I think that's where we were at.
Yeah. So I had made the decision because I knew they were going to place me on permanent disability. And I was so headstrong, even though I made headway of crawling to the bathroom and stuff. So I dipped my walks. I was determined. I called it, I am training for the Olympics.
Right?
For three years before, or it was 3 years.
I know.
But I'm like, I'm training. I gotta go, even though I was never supposed to get better. And so I walked 3 times a day on this country road and then all the way to the highway, which equaled 6 miles a day. I worked my way up that while I was there the 2 weeks. And the first time I walked, I walked half the mile. It's like a mile road. It's sand road. It's
right
in the middle of nowhere. There's a lake, and then there's a man-made lake by this guy that owns peacocks. And I mean, there's tons of free roaming animals, including dogs. And there was a donkey in the distance. I'm like, who has a donkey here? Like, just randomly, right? And then, so I met a dog on my walk, and I paused, and I was like, can I pass you? Like, you have a collar? What's going on? And then the next day, I had 5 dogs checking me out. And so I'm like, okay, but this one dog, the first dog, just kept following me. And I was like, hey, buddy, you're my walking buddy. And he followed me home one time, and my mom had a fit. Don't bring a dog home and all this. My dogs will kill them, you know, anything. And I'm like, what? And they're like, I have killer dogs. And I'm like, I couldn't backtalk. But one's a therapy dog. One trained, my mom trained it to go into hospice cares and any hospitals and actually visit patients. So I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, killer dog. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
And you've already been walking this road to where you've built up to.
Yeah. And I even tried to play ball with it. Like, and my mom's like, he doesn't know what a ball is. He doesn't. They're like, this one is just trained to protect the property, and so is the other will follow, even though it's. And so I'm like, this is so weird. Like,
pack mentality.
You need to have animals that want to kill. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And then, so I talked to the neighbors because I'm the only one walking. No one walks in Texas, apparently. And and
we do so carry a big stick.
Right. And so I meet the neighbors, and she's like, oh, I'm really worried about, you know, you with the killer dogs. And I'm like, does everybody know my mom? And she was the crazy lady on the street. And I'm like, great, I live in that house right now. And so come to find out, the dog followed me home again, but wanted through the gate. And I said, no, you can't. And the dogs jumped on him, started biting him, taking turns trying to tear him up. I jumped on that dog, and I would get one dog off, but then the other
one, the pack.
I'm fighting the pack. I'm not leaving this dog. And my mom just starts yelling from the window, get the hose, Sarah, get the hose. And I mean, and I'm like, Mom, they're tearing him. My 12-year-old daughter's inside listening to this and freaking out. So she comes running out. And here I'm like trying to protect this dog. I'm completely on him. And the dog bit me. I had pre-puncture all the way down to the muscle, like a deep hole. My daughter's flipping out. I'm bleeding, but I'm like, I'm on the ground rolling in Texas where there's red ants, black ants that I found on our property. And I have dogs that I don't know if they're going to bite me because I'm protected. Like, I don't know what's happening. So my daughter flat out looks in the direction of my mom inside the house, just yelling at me. And she's like, we don't care. And I looked up at her going, oh, that might have been a mistake. Like, because I'm still trying to listen to my mom. And she calls the dogs off. She could have called the dogs off the whole time.
Right.
So she's like, she called them by names, Sam and Roxy. And they get in the house, and she slams the door, leaving me out there and my daughter. And so I'm like, okay, Keilah, let's get him home, because I knew where he lived. And then it was like, he just couldn't walk. The neighbor rides his bike and was like, I'm going to get them. I heard and saw everything. And I'm like, my mom, like, couldn't help me. Like, I get she's in pain. I get, like, a lot's going on. And this is way before the actual, the pets.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before my brother got involved. So I'm just living every day. And this happens, and my daughter's like, "You're bleeding," because it just is not good. And I'm like, adrenaline, my back hurts. I was rolling on the ground, 7 months post, spinal fusion. I have
Spinals, yeah.
yeah, no, 2 bars and 4 bolts on my
Yeah,
lower.
that's right. Yeah.
My L5 and S1 are connected now. And so I'm like, I'm not healed whatsoever. I don't know. I just know I have this dog. And so they come with their car, pick him up. I ask, is he updated in shots? She said no. And then I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to the hospital and say it's bit by a dog, because then they're going to want everything and put him down or to check, because you have to do.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct.
And so here I'm like, I don't know. So I called the one friend that's helping my mom out and be like, okay, this happened. Sorry. And then she came for medical aid, and I'm in the bathroom. My mom hears me screaming. She's squeezing out blood clots that are so deep within my body. And she's like, we need to get these out. And I'm like, I know, but like, at this point, just chop it off. I don't know. And my mom was like, get the carcass off the property. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Yeah, I'm like, Mom, the animal's not dead. She's like, what? And like, totally shocked that her animals didn't kill it. And then she was disgusted that they didn't kill it. I'm like, are you serious? And I'm here with punctured holes, bleeding, just got it out. And the whole time the lady's like, just tell her your feelings. I'm like, we don't do feelings here. I don't know what family you're talking about, but I'm not supposed to have feelings. I'm not supposed to have an opinion, not even as an adult. My mom's right, and I must follow. And she's like, no, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be mediating. If there's any confusion or like misunderstood, I'm like, okay. But I'm like, as soon as I'm going to be shut down, but okay. And I told my mom, I was like, I have the couch in between me just in case I get and far away from her.
Right.
Days, because I'm like, you don't bring up feelings. And I was like, Mom, I'm really upset and sad that you cared more about the dog not being dead than me being hurt. And I'm really hurt. And she's like, okay. Because no one's standing there. And my mom is like, what? And I'm like, Mom, I want to know if you care about me. Do you love me? And she's like, I can't believe you're asking that. And I'm like staring at her. I'm like, Mom, do you love me? And nothing. I got nothing. She started smoking her cigarette and staring off in the distance. And and my daughter's in the next room. This is paper thin walls because it's a trailer. Yeah. You can hear everything. And so I run out the front door crying so hard because my mom can't say she loves me. She can't even, like, the simplest, of course I love you. Nothing. There's no emotion whatsoever other than disgust that I'm talking to her about my feelings. And
you said yesterday that you were never brought up to be able to you weren't allowed to speak about your feelings.
No.
Yeah.
You don't have feelings. Well, no. Even anger, nothing. You just fall in line and do what you're told. And I had the softest voice because of that. So I pretty much was, until 7th grade, my voice was very soft and very, like, if I approached someone, I'd be like, I'm so sorry to interrupt you or bother you. Like, I was very timid. And in 7th grade, all my guy friends, I only had guy friends because they understood me. They any type of walk of life, right? They're like some gang affiliation, and I'm just like, hey guys, how are you? And in 7th grade, they approached me saying, I can no longer be your friend because you're too pretty. I didn't understand, but it was
Wow.
puberty, right? So I get it
Yeah.
now, but like, I thought they were pranking me. I thought that I was just like, what do you mean I'm too ugly for you to hang around? Because I thought they were joking. I'm like, because I didn't care about my looks. It was, I was like, what are you talking about? One by one would say it, and then all of a sudden I lost all my friends in middle school. So I had to make new friends. But who wants to be friends with an ugly person? And so then guys started asking me out. I thought they were in on the joke. So I would say, hell no. And then everybody would be like, oh. And I was like, what? Is everybody in on this joke? Like, why are you making fun of my looks? Like, I can't help
Right.
look. And I didn't associate myself with pretty, ugly, nothing. But I'm like, now you're making fun of me? Like, that's not fair. And so I would be like, I'm so angry right now. But that's the voice. Everyone laughed. And then it went from not speaking up to like totally angry at my mom's voice. And I'm going to rip your effing head off. Like, and everyone was like, whoa, who's this? And so that's where I got my voice for outside the house. But inside, you don't. You don't say a word. You say your thank yous. I apologize. My favorite word was sorry. Sorry, 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 sorry. Sorry for saying sorry. And so for my mom to do this in front of somebody else, I got validation that
You
this is
did.
how I'm treated.
You told her that that's what was going to happen.
And this lady let my mom have it. Said she was disgusted by her behavior. She cannot believe how bitter and ugly your attitude is towards your daughter. Your daughter is so humble and graceful. Like, she just started like praising me, and I'm crying out front, and I'm like, who is this woman? I just met her. Like, what are you talking? Like, she knows me more better than my mom. And then she's like, she serves you on hand and foot, anything you ask.
And how long had you been there at this point with your daughter?
A week.
A week, yeah.
A week.
So you've relived a whole lifetime of trauma just in a week already.
Just in a week.
Yeah.
My daughter stayed in the room, had the door shut, and I said, "This is my life." As a child, as long as that door was shut, I was 99.9% safe. Like, no one
Right.
came, until my brother at 18, when he just went like this and it popped out the lock, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I was safe. But when I got my brother involved, so the dogs are fine. Now I don't want to play with the dogs. The 2 dogs that are killers that I'm around. I'm like, my mom trained you evil. Like, treated the animals evil. If the duck started naturally being rough with the male duck she put him in a tiny cage. Like, I was all, what the hell? Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Treating animals and people disgustingly. And my daughter, I felt so bad. I was like, okay, you're safe, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm not leaving this room. I'm not talking to her. I'm not. I was like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Just walk by, get whatever food. I was like, whatever snacks, whatever food you want. Thank you for coming with me and seeing your grandma for the last time. I'm so sorry. She's like, Mom, I can't believe that you dealt with this. And I was like, it's life. It's what, and I want to make her happy. And I can't make her happy no matter what I do.
And sometimes you just have to come to the realization of that.
Right. So then I brought my brother involved, everything, because I hadn't spoken to him since he was 20. He's been getting SSI for whatever mental disorder he has or disorders since 21. Texas now pays for it. My mom, come to find out, she got widow benefits from her first husband, but the second husband was my dad, and she already married for the third time for 3 years, but then somehow she's getting widow benefits even though remarrying.
Yeah.
So
In Texas, I don't know, and if you're married, and it may, I'm gonna say in Texas. I'm not sure about anywhere else. It may be different, or it may be not. But I know that if you're married, I think it's actually federal. If you're married over 10 years, you're vested, and you can draw that. You may be able to draw those benefits.
It's just, she became a widow in California. So
yes, I think it's federal because it is
okay.
Social Security. So yeah, it would be
Because here
federal.
I'm like, she's retired, she has this, she's getting extra and stuff.
She was married for more than 10 years. She's eligible for that.
Blows my mind.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But she went for it. She's getting so, because I would never think of that. I would never apply for something that's been so far in the past.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just, I don't know. It's just the mental thinking of these two that are so alike, and then I'm the black sheep, and just trying.
I'm going to actually say I think you might be the white sheep.
Well, it's just so weird because I'm like, where did I get my personality? Where did I get this high moral?
And your strength.
I have no freaking clue, because here yeah. So when I brought them in, it shifted between my mom and my brother being in charge, and I was that 5-year-old. I better fit in that box. So we already went through, do you love me, all this. So I knew exactly where I stood with my mom. And then,
so how much long after you got your brother involved did you actually stay in Texas before you went back to California?
That one day that he met my daughter, and then the next, and I went.
Then you left. Yeah. That's when you had hospice set up, right?
Yeah. Yes. And I came back. Well, I called them on the phone and had them start, but I had to go back for 2 weeks to set up for my, I had appointments for my back, disability. And then I came back only for 2 days.
Right.
One night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the midst of all that, you, okay, I'm trying to keep your story in order in my mind here. So I know that you left and you took your daughter for the last time. You took your daughter out of Texas.
Yeah. She met my brother. I thought it was way too weird. He touched my knee one time and said, I never touched you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, my jaw drops, and I said, what are you talking about? You beat the shit out of me. Like one time, and then he got beat up for this from my stepbrother, because I went to call my mom, and he ripped the phone out of the wall and slammed my face with the phone across my face. So I'm like, what are you talking about? You never touched me. You terrorized me. You put a 9-volt battery on my tongue for a minute just to see what it does. You terrorized me. And he's like, no, that was you. And I'm just shaking my head going, you're a psychopath. And then he's like, you're the one that attacked me for that phone. You lied to the police to get me arrested. And I'm listening, and I'm looking at him going, no, I'm not believing this. He was 3 times my size. Right. I was barely 100 pounds at age 18. Because of how we were raised, we were very poor. I barely ate. My brother ate a lot. Just the coping skills. We were polar opposite. He showed his anger outward. I showed my anger inward. And so he was 300 pounds in high school, and I was barely 100. And he knew karate. What was I gonna do? A play? Freaking first
But
position.
Journey, you've shown, like, I don't know what drew, I don't know where you drew that from, but you have broken that. I mean, like, look at the relationship you have with your daughter. It's total polar opposite.
I just don't understand people that want to cause people pain. I don't understand where that comes from.
Because being an empath, an empathic person, you don't know where, you can't grasp the concept because you would not do that to someone else. And I mean, I know that's for me. I can't grasp being mean to animals, other humans just being so hateful when they could spend so much of that energy being, for good things to make this world a better place. You, Journey, have made this world a better place.
Oh, thank you. I'm just floored with just their outlook on life. And then, I don't know, they were so
And some things
isolated.
you just can't change, so you have to just let it go.
Right.
I mean, you have to get away from it, the toxicity of it all.
Yeah. So I left. The doctor placed me on permanent disability. This whole time they were using the word plateau. I can't stand the word plateau. He plateaued. And I'm like, I'm training for the Olympics. I don't know what you're talking about. You know how much I'm walking. Because
Right.
I could not bend my knees or ankles. I was going paralyzed with my vertebrae on my spinal cord for too long. And they said I wouldn't get that back. I got it back. The anterior, so I don't want to get too scientific.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I got you.
The shin muscle, let me just say that, is the only way you can run. That would when I watched the Olympic trials, because it was Tokyo during, and I had 3 years for Paris. So I'm like, all right, well, not
Right.
this. I'm watching it with ice on my shin because it's fluttering. And I was like, you're going to stay there. You're going to get stronger. And I'm going to run. I'm going to run because they told me I'm never going to walk. So I'm running. And so I deal with that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stay until my mom passes. And I went back after my birthday. I turned 39, April 15th. April 12th was when I was placed on permanent disability. So I'm not having a good time. I get back there and I'm like, okay. And during this time, I have the lady that was taking care of my mom 2 months before I did, knew I had back surgery. So she let me borrow this bed that was her daughter's. She had, I even forget the whole story, but her children were with her because of her ex's active kids. I don't know. But I have her bed, so it's sacred to her. And I bought the little I don't know, so it doesn't lay on the ground. You know those things.
Yeah.
Okay, so I bought that while I was there, and I was only going to use it for while I was there. Well, my brother was not supposed to stay with my mom. They just reconnected, and she said she would never live with him again.
Right.
And because they didn't talk for months, because they had a fallout. Well, holding hands right away, like I was like, I can't even do this with my mom. I can't even hug my mom. Like, what is happening, you know? And I find out he was using the bed, and he was, well, I need to get my mattress. And then the lady said, do not help him with your mattress. You cannot do that. And no matter what I would tell my brother, he wouldn't listen. He's like, no, you're helping me get this mattress. I didn't help. And he got very mad with me. And I had to drive him because he doesn't drive. It's all that control. He doesn't have control.
It's about control.
Yes. Yeah. And so he got very mad at me. He finally got it into the house, into the truck, out of the truck, and then without my help. I was like, I'm not helping. And so he called me lazy a lot, even though I had back surgery. And And because he found out, he wanted to know my weight, and he's like, haha, you're 5 pounds heavier than me.
This gaslighting 101.
But I was like, I was bedridden. I'm not supposed to be able to walk. And
Right.
I found out I dug into the ground just to propel myself forward. So it wasn't walking. I was literally digging into the ground. But I had him sitting on I have a picture of it. He's sitting on my bed. He found out I had an iPad. He doesn't have an iPad. He's playing on my iPad, and I take my phone, send a picture. I'm like, I can't get him out of my room. And my husband's like, I do not like him touching your iPad. And I was like, no, I'm trying to get him out. And then he's trying to convince me, let's switch beds. This is the best bed that I've slept on because my sciatica. Maybe I should get back surgery. I'm like, what the hell?
That's all just messing with your mind. That's all messing with your mind. Yeah.
I volunteer for this. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he wouldn't let go that whole first day. Mom, hey, like, she should give me that bed. And then I told him, told my mom, I was like, Mom, I cannot switch beds. Like, this is not okay. And she told him to let it go. Of course, I'm still going to her to help me, save me from my brother. He wouldn't let it go. And he would be whispering, like, hey, Sarah, you really need to give me that bed.
Intimidation and gaslighting. That's all he was trying to.
It's unbelievable. I called the lady and I was like, it's the same situation. It's just instead of a phone, it's a damn bed. Come and take the bed. And she's like, well, what are you going to sleep on? And I was like, I have no idea, but I need to get this bed out of here before he puts his hands on me.
Yeah.
And so they came, got the bed, and they were pissed at him. And then he yells, he's like, Mom, she got rid of the bed so I couldn't have it. And she's like, aw. And I'm like, what emotions is this? I couldn't complain one thing. Like, I'm like, and he's 40, I'm 39. And it's like the same situation. I'm like, I have my family, I have a house, I have a husband, I have a child, and I'm here? I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And I was like, this is a circus on fire. I'm an audience member. Like, you know how you say it's like your circus?
Right.
And I was like, no. And then my brother and my mom got it in their head that it's at least going to be a year. She didn't consult any other doctor.
But you knew different.
Yes. He explained exactly where it is and exactly where it's going. It's going to go to your brain.
Research.
Soon. And she's like, just saying, like, oh my gosh. And so they're like excited that I'm there. They're like, so how long are you going to stay, Sarah? Because it's going to be a while. What can we do? I'm having Mom make a bucket list of what she's really into because she's depressed. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm not here to play. I'm here to help my mom. And so while things were getting ready, because I had called and set up all the hospice care and getting ready, so they were in the works of setting up an appointment while both of us kids were there, my brother and I. And what my husband discovered is that we said my mom, not our mom.
Yeah.
No, who said it? My mom and my mom. And I was like, that's weird too. And then, because I didn't even notice. But the bed's gone. He is counting my mom's calories, I find out, because she's stagnant. She's going to gain weight. She's already a little fat, Sarah.
And
I'm like,
that's what I couldn't get, that she's sick and he's worried about her,
her weight.
calories. Yeah.
Yes. So it's way under. It's like 1,000 milligrams he's creating, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then she wanted a banana for the morning. She was thinking, ooh, a banana sounds great for the morning, and that's really good for a patient that has tons of cancer in her. It's everywhere, everywhere. Her lungs, her breast, her lymph node now, her tailbone, all in her hip. It's draining into her, all down her leg. So it's swollen. It's in her stomach, her uterus, her fallopian, like intestines, everywhere.
It was everywhere.
It was
Yeah.
so bad. Liver, kidneys. Oh my gosh. And she's like, no, yeah, I just want a banana. That sounds really good. And he's like, no, Mom, the banana is for the smoothies. I'm sitting there going,
What?
what? And then I said, she can have my banana. Because as I'm challenging him, I'm trying not to sound so freaking aggressive or like any banter, anything to start a fight, right? So I'm like, she can have my banana. And he's like, no, you don't want a smoothie? No. And then he's like, looks at me and he's like, well, geez. And then I realized all the food, I have to ask permission. I'm like, this is hell. I'm only here for like a couple hours and it's gone downhill fast. And then so I left to go get my own food because
Right.
realized I can't touch his food. And while I was there, I got my own comforter because everything left that house that was this lady's. I was like, no. I do not want anything that he can use to be violent with me. So I buy my own comforter. I'm, thinking through, what am I going to say? What am I, he cannot count her calories and he cannot tell her she can't have a freaking banana. This is going to be the stupidest argument. And so I get back. And
Did you have the nurse? I don't mean to interrupt you. Did you have the nurses from hospice yet tell him that she needs to eat what she can keep down? And he didn't listen.
Every week.
And he didn't listen.
I said, and she's like, yes, we're aware of that. We kept telling him that it doesn't matter about the calories because it's whatever she can eat. And then the more I called every week, because I called my mom and then I called them, and I was like, he should not be taking care of another person. And then he can't even take care of himself. He's supplemented from for SSI for mental.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Is this when you went back and he was sleeping in her hospice bed?
She yet to have the hospice bed.
Oh, she didn't have. Okay.
Nope. So she's still in the recliner, not moving. The only furniture she has is her bed, the living room, and the kitchen. She has 2 other bedrooms that are pretty much empty, or like she's been living there for like 6 years, I think, and never unpacked and never really bought for it. It was the weirdest setup. And I'm looking around, I'm like, where are pictures? And there's nothing on the walls. Nothing. And so here she's sitting in her recliner, and I get back and I was like, okay, here's the thing. Because I had enough. Here's the thing. You're not going to count her calories because she's really sick and she needs to eat whenever she wants to.
Right.
First of all. Second, when she wants a freaking banana, she can have the banana. I was like, I did not come across diplomatic, but I was so angry. And he's like, oh, no, you think you know better? You think you come in? You're so stupid. And he got in my face, and all of a sudden I saw red, and I used every cuss word and every. I didn't even make sense. I just was.
I would say it was warranted. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, you. And so I'm like, now I don't even sound coherent. And because
Hi, baby.
this is my boy, Jake. He's the best boy ever. But now you're going to beg. Mm-hmm. He likes rubs.
So how long did you stay for this long until you left again for
I
good?
left before the evening.
Oh, you did leave that day?
Well, I left the next day. I left this night or before the evening because I said, Mom, I'm going to a hotel. She's like, okay. Like, she's watching this whole fight, but like, whatever. Like, I don't like dissension, is what she kept saying, but she wasn't doing anything. And so I'm like, I'm getting a hotel. And she's like, okay. I am borrowing her truck. I'm putting the gas in whatever I use. And she can't drive. He can't drive. So I didn't think it was a problem. I just put an object in my possession. He chased me, said, I cannot steal her truck. You're not stealing Mom's truck. And he was running after me. I just threw my duffel bag in the back of the truck bed and started to open the door. He slammed the door shut and then turned his back to me and backed up into me, grabbed my stuff and threw it all, and everything, even my phone, went everywhere in that dirt or in that sandy road. And then I was like, I knew you didn't change, because I'm scared, because I'm facing this guy. And he's like, I didn't touch you. And I was like,
no,
oh,
that's
shit.
Not okay, Journey.
No, I'm yelling. My mom's yelling at him, leave her alone. Hey, Jacob, get back in here. And I'm going, Mom, call the cops. Call the cops. I'm done. Call the cops. She never called the cops. She has no control. And I just grab my phone and my bag and start walking as fast as I can. Granted, I have holes in my leg. I have a bad back. I can't bend my knees or my ankles. But I'm like, okay, I need to get out of here. I need to get off this road. That's all I'm thinking. Because he starts going, Mom, where's the keys? I have the keys. I'm like, shit. There's nowhere to hide off this road other than people's property. And so I looked, there's no one there. I went, oh yeah. The dog's name, now his name was Buddy. So I was calling him by his name when I didn't know. No wonder he's stuck next to me.
Right.
I was like, you're my little buddy. So I went to Buddy's house and I knocked on the door and I was like, hi, I was wondering if I can get a ride somewhere. I have no clue where I'm going, but hate to say it, I'm being chased. And she's like, oh, I'm about to take my daughter to her work at Sonic. And I was like, okay, then can I hide in your yard? You have a tree here. I had no clue what to do. I just need to get off this road. And she's like, yeah, do whatever you need. Like, she was so I'm hiding, thinking this guy, my brother's gonna come, wrestle me for the keys, and then I'm really stuck. So then this lady comes out and is spending like 10 to 15 minutes cleaning out her car, but I don't know what she's doing. I'm trying to find a taxi. Yeah. So I'm calling for a ride, and I don't do lifts or anything. So I'm like, I'm not really thinking. I just want to get out of here, but I'm in the middle of nowhere, hiding with, they were like tall weeds in the middle of Texas. Yeah. This is not safe. No, I don't want to be in weeds where beetles or bugs and whatever. Yeah, I found out
you're used to that here.
I was like, oh, that's pretty. Or, armadillo. Yeah. Stuff, and I was like, it's gonna be dark soon. I'm not safe. And found out. I called and said, oh, okay, I need a ride, but I have no clue where I'm going. Would you be able to pick me up from this area? And they said yes. So I was like, okay, I'll call back when I find a hotel. And I'm looking, and the lady's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take you. I can take you as far as, because it's 30 minutes into town.
Right.
So she's like, I can take you and drop you off at Sonic. So I got in the car and I apologize. I'm so sorry that, I'm here. I thank you so much. I just need to go be safe. And they're like, oh, no problem. I was like, oh my gosh, she must think I'm nuts. And here the dog. And they're like, we were just thankful that you saved our dog.
There you go. So see,
And
there's
I'm
nice
like,
people.
see, and of course, I love that dog. That dog is amazing. And I'm really sorry that happened. And so they dropped me off. She went to work, but she offered me a drink. I'm like crying. She's like, what drink would you like? And I was like, what? And so I'm sitting there and with sand in my bag and my phone's covered in sand. I call this lady, the taxi, like 5 different times, calling and then canceling, calling because I'm like, my head's not straight. I'm so scared, and I don't know where I'm at. Technically, I don't know if I'm in a
Right.
neighborhood. I mean, businesses are pretty much spread out. I don't know what to do. And so the lady called me, our California lady, and my California girl, and said, whatever you need, you have my number. And I was just crying because I'm like, why are these people even helping me? I look like a psycho. Because I'm like, I'm being chased. I'm being this. Like, what? And so she came, gave me a ride, and she said, I know this hotel. It's a safe neighborhood, and I know the person at the desk. They will let no one bother you. I'm like, okay, sure. I raided that vending machine for dinner. It wasn't even dark yet, but I stayed in my room and I double locked the door, double bolt,
Yeah.
called my husband. I'm like, okay, I'm safe, but I want out of here. I need to get home. And so he's starting to look at, because I went into Shreveport and then drove over. So
Right.
he's like, there's nothing in Shreveport. There's no planes leaving to come to Sacramento. And so I'm like, okay, um, all right. And then he's like, in Houston, the Houston airport, there's a
You're a
plane.
little bit far away from Houston.
Yeah, he's like, there's a plane leaving at 1 or 2 p. Or wait, no, 5 p.m. But I have to leave here at 1 to drive all that way. And I said, I'll see if the taxi can drive me, but I don't know how I'm getting to Houston 4 hours away.
Right.
And so I call and she's like, let me call my boss. Call me back and says yes. And it's going to be $270. I said, whatever you need. Just get
Right.
to the
Get me out of
airport.
here. Yeah.
And so I made the plans. And then right after, I get a call from the hospice nurse saying their hospital bed is going to be delivered at this time, and all this, that it was in the works while I was 2 weeks back home. And I knew
Right.
it was going to take time. So that's why I was like, okay. And then she said, we're having a meeting to go over all the legal and medicine that she will now be able to have because the nurse is there. It's going to be it's a higher level of care. And then, when she is ready, then she'll go.
Right.
She'll stay at home as much as possible. And then when it gets too much, she's going to
Go
go inpatient care.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. But then I was like, I'm leaving tomorrow. And she's like, what? And I was like, I'm like, because she said, oh, I called your parent, or I called your mom before, but I wanted you to be there. And so then, I was like, I'm not going to be there. And then she's like, what? And I'm like, did they tell you anything? And they're like, no. Well, they said you were gone and you'll be back sometime. They just don't know when. In my mind, I'm all, who the hell would go back? What is happening? Like, why? Why would you think that this is okay, that you can chase someone down the street because you're taking the truck to de-escalate and stay somewhere else? Like, that makes no sense.
I'm just can't believe you stuck around that long.
Well, because I'm
The
trying
strength that you have.
to be a really good daughter.
You
Trying to show that I'm here
you
for
didn't
you.
try, Journey. You are, and you were. Please know that. Please know that. You didn't try. You were. You succeeded in that.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'm like, I know this woman doesn't love me, but I'm still her daughter. And
That's right.
I don't want to regret anything. I did everything I could. This lady has this lady is gonna die hateful. You just
You
whatever.
can't change that, but
No,
you can control you.
There's nothing that this lady's gonna be happy about. But I need to do this for me because I'm gonna regret not being there in her final days.
Right.
And my brother didn't let me. My safety was more of a concern, and because he chose to live there, he lived 30 minutes away. He lived on the outside of the city, but not like it's still the city, but then the country, and then my mom. So he didn't live far, but the lady asked, "Well, would you be there when I'm there?" And I said, "Yes." And when you leave, I'm leaving. Like,
right.
and I have to already leave at this, by 1, and to get to the airport in Houston. She's like, "Yes, I'm leaving around that time." And I was like, "Okay." And so I had that taxi lady bring me to my mom's house. I stayed outside until that lady came. The lady came right after, and we walked in together. There was a total of 4 nurses, other nurses, and she was just the administrative nurse. And we went over the DNR. We went over all these things, and I'm just sitting there listening. I'm like, this lady asked me to be here. I'm here. Like, not even my mom. I don't know what my mom wanted. But she started praising my brother, that he's taking care of her, that
So let them.
he wants him here,
Yeah.
and he lives too far away. I don't know what facial expressions I have because I'm very expressive, but I tried to keep it in, and I kept telling myself, this isn't about me. This is her end of life, and
Right.
I'm stepping away. It is what it is. But this is batshit crazy. Like, I kept saying that. Live far away? What the hell are you talking about? And so it just didn't make sense. They went through medication, and I'm just standing there, and the nurse looks at me and says, "I know exactly what you're going through. I was in your same position." But I was like, I don't think freaking hell. But yeah, my mom's dying, and she gave me the biggest hug, and I just started crying. Because I know I'm leaving my mom the way she is with this psycho. And
But that's her choice, Journey.
I have to let go. I have
for your own self-preservation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not fighting for I'm just wow. Like, this is it. And I said, "Bye, Mom." Gave her a hug. She doesn't like hugs. She was like, "Okay." And I sat with her for a second while my brother was wandering, like, kept pacing the house. But I was like saying, "Mom, I'm leaving. I'm going back." She's like, "Okay." Didn't even ask where I spent the night. Like, was like, how did I get there? I'm not explaining because that involved feelings. So I'm just like, all right, okay, see how you doing later. Bye. Yeah. Walked out with that lady, and instead of standing in front of the house, found out the taxi lady's boss lived right next door. That guy on the bike was his brother.
What the hell?
And so I just stood on his property, and I was like, "I'm standing on your boss's property."
Wow.
Because I don't want to stand in front of my house, in front of my parents' house, thing. Why isn't she in here? Because I'm not going back. I'm not.
No.
And then the month of May. So I started focusing on myself, even though I was calling to get updates from her. She started talking about the sheep taking her pills. So I'm like, okay, it's going to her brain.
Yeah.
And just talked about the weather. Just, okay, you're doing fine. And she was really drugged up. So she was high. And just talked to her for a little bit. But then I would always call the nurses and say, how's it going? What's going on? How's my brother? Because, and I said the same complaints. And they would try to reassure me, but like, freaking A, man. Still not content at all that he's taking care of her. She needs someone else.
Yeah, but you can't really.
Not me.
What do you do?
Mm-hmm. And I get a call June 2nd. So that month I started with a personal trainer, really training for I told her my goal. I want to run.
Right.
This body, I want to run. And she's like, all right, let's see where it falls, what's permanent. And nothing was permanent. I made it, but I'll get into that story.
That's your strength, darling. That's your strength.
I didn't make it to the Olympics, but I made it somewhere else. But that mentality. So all a month, and then she quickly declined. I got a call from my brother saying she's been admitted into the hospice inpatient and in a lot of pain, and the liquid morphine and it's not working anymore. And so I said, okay. And my husband and I, because he wasn't going to let me go alone because I'm not going to be with my brother. And he was never, my husband just was letting me make the decisions of going and everything. And he just supported. So he's been involved with my family since before my brother attacked me when I was 18, where high school starts. So for him to know,
you're so strong.
He's all, yeah, no, I hate your brother. But he doesn't put him, it's not like that. It's not that. And I love it. And that's why I was like, when he was hungry last night, I was like, he just needs to be fed and he wants to eat with me because he loves me. So that's all. He's just checking in. When are you going to be done? Because dinner.
Right.
So, but yeah, he came with me and we arrived in Houston. Oh yeah, wait, I skipped. So we did the 200. I gave her $300. I said, I wish it was more. We did a road trip. I'm in a random person's car for hours. I'm crying. We have to wear masks because it's 2021. And
of course.
I asked a lady next to me. I was like, because you can only see your eyes, and I didn't have bangs or anything, and I was constantly crying because that's the last time I'm going to see my mom the way she was. She was only going to get worse or pass. And I'm like, it's completely out of my control. So I just mourned. And then she's like, no, why? And then I told her my story only the last 2 weeks, or, before that and the 2 days. And she's like, your life sounds like Stephen King novel. I'm like,
to put it lightly.
And I heard about her girl trip with her sisters. They're just going to go see the new baby. And, and I'm just like, that is so fun. I don't have that story. Like, hell. And so we just sat there and, I got home safe. And so
I'm glad you did.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't ever want to do that again. That was horrible. Like, I don't even know how to explain what happened. And then, so yeah, we get the call. My husband and I go down the next day. We arrived in Houston and got a car and then drove down. So we arrived at midnight and into the town that she was at in hospice care, 45 minutes away from her home. So that way we were closer to the hospice. I get a call like 7 a.m. saying, "You better get here. She's declining fast. Her vitals are dropping." When I arrived, she was comatose. No one told me.
Yeah.
My husband sat in a chair, in the main armchair, and there was a little chair, but my brother was actually in the bathroom. He was sleeping there, and he did sleep. He was the one sleeping in the hospital bed. He has his mattress there. Why can't? What? I do not understand.
And she was in the recliner at home.
She was in the recliner, and because she didn't want the bed. I don't know. She was very. They would argue a lot, and then she would be submissive. She would give it to him.
Yeah.
And it was a very symbiotic, creepy relationship that even the nurse says that, yeah, their relationship, banter, going back and forth, yelling at each other. And I was like, and thank God something happened for me to leave. I did not need that.
No.
Even though I wanted to be there for my mom.
You were there the best you could do.
Yeah.
And look at the strength that you have. Like you had to get yourself to safety. That's first and foremost.
Yes. And so I thought I would regret it. And my mom passed that day on June 5th, the day I went to see her. I held her hand the very first time since I was a little girl. And I said I wish we had a relationship. It sucks that you didn't like to talk about feelings. And
I'm going to tell you this. You've made up for that in spades with your daughter. You're nothing like that. You are so strong, and you're such a great mom.
Thank you. I try so hard. I know I'm not a perfect human, but I try to love through everything, and not because my mom only loved through discipline. That's the only time you were talked to, and it wasn't talking.
Right.
And she really didn't care to know what was happening in my life. I want to know everything that's happening in my daughter's life. I want to be involved. And when she grows up, I told her, if you have not called me in 3 days, I'm bringing my sleeping bag and my pillow. And you're not going to get rid of me until you understand I need to know you're breathing.
Right. Journey, I'm going to, you can keep talking if you want. If you can give me 1 second, I've got some dogs that I can't handle. They're in the back. If I'm going to take one quick break just for me to go figure out what's going on here, because they won't stop, and I don't like that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
And I'm not trying to be rude at all. Please know that.
You're
Please.
not.
Okay, let me see if this works on me. Oh, no, that's the whole thing. Okay, I'm just going to leave mine up. I don't care. I'm going to run and check on them. I'll be right back. You've got a lot of people in the chat, though, that are definitely... Can you see the chat?
I just started looking.
Okay, if you feel, please feel free to... But I will be right back because they're not being quiet.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I will be right back.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
Hi, Johnny.
I thought it was going to be myself with the chat. I was like, I don't know what to do, guys. Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. You want to take some comments while we're waiting? Okay.
Sure. Are you doing all right?
Yeah. I just been starting some things. You got some... Wow, your story. I'm trying not to cry.
I'm so sorry if I'm making anyone cry.
It's okay. Thank you for sharing with us. You're so strong.
Oh, thank you.
So we had Gretchen Only come in, Dr. Gretchen. She said, "Hi, Keilah and the Journey 2020. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Appreciate your openness and your passion." I agree with that completely. And our friend Indigo Twin was in here. They've been giving us tons of great input. And so if you don't mind, I'll read some of their comments.
No, of course.
My lovely Journey, you are a beautiful soul. I'm so sorry you went through this. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Kate Delay, hey there, darling. You broke the cycle. You're strong, and you can take care of little Journey. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. No, I'm crying.
Thank you, guys.
And we had literally Serge stopped in. Mental health matters, absolutely. And Scientology wants no one to get a mandated reporter. No more kids in Scientology.
Absolutely. Serge, if you're still here, I went to the FBI with all my info about a certain subject, and it's an open case against Scientology Front Group.
Awesome. That's amazing. Yes, I think Keilah put it in the chat to him, so hopefully he saw it, that you had gone and talked to them, and it's an open case. That's awesome.
It's an open case.
You're so brave. I'm so glad you did that. It's amazing. Yeah, Indigo Twin comment, your truth is real, Journey. People who have narcissism and or abusive traits will gaslight you. Oh my God, yeah, your brother. That's all I could think of. I was like yelling at the screen. He's gaslighting you. Oh my God.
It was horrible. Like, he made everybody believe around him, where he's at in Texas, not where he grew up. Everyone knows you, but that I'm the aggressor, and but I was like, he had a girlfriend for like 8 years, and he was in Oklahoma, I believe, and I tried to tell her, run. Like, I'm like, I just wanted to give you a warning. And it's like, I stopped right there, and I'm just like, please run. And she's like, I don't want to get into any family drama. And I'm like, that's fine with me. I'm like, girl, now that you said that, that's your own problem.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to get into the drama. But yeah, no, he definitely made it feel and made it seem like I'm the crazy one. I'm the one that's aggressive. And I'm like, I just want people to be happy. How is that aggressive? And they're looking at me like, what are you supposed to be happy about? Yeah.
Like Keilah said, it's gaslighting 101, and Darko just turning around on you. It's maddening. Absolutely. And I'm so glad you were there for your mom. And, it's too bad she couldn't reciprocate, but I think deep down she knew. And that you're doing your absolute best, and you're doing a fantastic job being a great mom and stopping the cycle.
Thank you.
Of course. Indigo Twin comment, Journey, you don't need to doubt your heart. You are a good person because you were born that way. You are a good person. Your feelings are valid, and what happened to you is real. Yep.
Thank you.
Beautifully said. I'm just going to keep reading Indigo's comments because they're amazing. Comment, Journey, your lived experiences are real. You have zero need to doubt the truth. You are a really good person. You were born good, and your light is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, honey.
Thank you. Thank
No
you.
problem.
I'm so sorry. Journey, I apologize because
No, that's okay.
That's okay. I'll let you take over.
It was more than just the dogs.
We were just reading some comments. So
okay. Okay, so I'm lost where y'all were at anyway. It was more than just the dogs. So I had to go help my 19-year-old real quick. She's having a crisis.
Oh no. Do you need to go?
Oh no, she has to find something to wear for her sorority meeting today, and she couldn't find anything, so I was running through my closet.
Okay. Oh, whatever you need, whatever clothes you want to cover up with, I don't care. Just cover up.
Okay, so I don't know where we were at, but if you want to, I'm out of breath now.
My mom took her last breath, like, as we know what the death rattle is.
Right.
And of course.
And that usually lasts so long.
Yeah, because it started right when we got there, and then I realized what my brother was talking about. She's like, she makes this like weird breathing, and so but I'm like, She's going.
That's not weird breathing. That you know what that was.
Mm-hmm. And even though I told him constantly, I was an EMT and I worked in an ambulance in the back. I worked in the ER.
Yeah.
I did phlebotomy. I know how the mechanics of everything and how to take care of someone and what they're going, like your sciatica is nothing. Like he wouldn't listen. I know nothing. I don't know how the world works. They constantly told me that every chance they got. My mom and brother would. So even trying to minimize what my experiences were, that they had no idea, even if I told them, it doesn't make sense. Like, no, Sarah wouldn't know. Sarah can't have that capacity of being smart. And so I kept the death rattle to myself. But I knew exactly what it was. And then
Absolutely.
I talked to the nurse. I walked out and then she's like, are you able to be with your mom by yourself? And I was like, no, he's not leaving her side. He's not leaving the only chair in the freaking room, because my husband's just trying to stay out. The way my brother looked into my husband's eyes when they met, they didn't even say hi, really. They just acknowledged each other. And my husband gave him a stone cold look, like, try it now. Try to touch my wife. And then, because that's what, he's like, oh, I want.
Did he respond to that? I mean, like, did it work?
My brother ignored him. My
Oh,
brother was
really?
like, oh, no. He does not do well with male energy, but he likes female. So my brother always told me I belonged in the kitchen, barefoot, pregnant.
Marilyn, I know what that's like.
Refused to be in the kitchen. Still to this day, feeling like I don't know how to cook. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to ruin it. Because I remember messing up the Kool-Aid and he made me drink it all.
Can I ask what you don't have to tell me because it's, I mean, like you said, it's his story to tell, but do you know what he was ultimately diagnosed with?
My mom said bipolar, but then she took it back, saying that she never said it.
I would take that back too. Okay, go ahead. Just wondering.
Because I don't think it's bipolar.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think it's bipolar. He does take meds for certain things. And I think I took the pictures of the meds.
I was just wondering what
later, and I don't think I've ever looked up his medication because I was like,
well, it just his behavior is not one of a typical typical, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. It's when she took her last breath, and he was telling me how fat she gained. Like,
that's so sad.
And I've been telling him this whole freaking time the cancer's draining in her leg. Like, it ate her hip. And anything I told him, I'm wrong. I don't know anything. And I'm just like, here you see a solid, swollen leg, and he's calling it fat. No matter what I said to him, I'm like, that's not fat. That's not fat. That's all that liquid from cancer. That's all that poison.
Did he react to the nurses when they told him? Or did he not believe them either?
No, he didn't believe them either.
Yeah.
Nothing. And so I got my chance. The nurse came in, flat out told him, you need to give your sister one-on-one time. Go find something to do.
So thankful for that, though.
She was so strong. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, he didn't know what to do with that.
But that's what we do to bullies. You know that.
Because my husband was reading his Kindle, and he would look up every time, just staring. What the heck are you going to do? So when he wanted him to act up.
Yeah.
Because my husband knows karate as well. Even though I told him my brother was a brown belt right underneath black. like he went up the ranks fast.
But he would have never
being
used
busy.
that because once you confront a bully, even the nurses know that. You knew that. You know, she came in there with that very strong demeanor.
Total, I'm not taking anything. You're
Yeah.
gonna listen. Get out.
So it gave you those few precious moments
Yes.
alone with your mom.
So that's when I talked to her.
Great.
And it was still uncomfortable talking about my feelings.
But you said it.
I took a picture of me holding her hand, just our hands, because that doesn't happen in real life. And when she stopped breathing, her tongue was so swollen it was out.
Yeah.
And the nurse even yelled at my brother, "Are you gonna take care of that?" Because he was supposed to keep it moist because she couldn't
Right.
out with the the little popsicle sponge type thing. And he's like, "What?" My brother didn't want to do it. And I'm like, "Move over." And so I did it for her. I moistened her mouth.
And that's something nobody can take away from you.
And
You gave her some comfort.
yeah. And so when she stopped breathing, because it was like a snoring noise, but I know it's just air dying.
Yeah.
And she stopped. I ran out and got the nurse real fast. And my brother was just like, "Oh." And then it was so weird because you don't react like that, especially to your mom. And then I brought him in, and I guess I stayed out crying. I know she's passing. And my brother stayed in the room. I guess she breathed one more time. But, she did all the death rattle this whole time. So I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But I'm just crying. And then he comes out and he's like, "Well, that was weird." And then he's like, "I handled it better than you did." And I'm looking at my husband and I'm crying and I have tissue and I'm like, I'm about to punch him. I need to, my husband took me outside and we walked the grounds because I was all, "What?" I'm like, "What do you mean he took it better than I did?" It's not a contest. What it's like,
competition.
"You have this, I want that. You did this, I did this better." I'm not in any, I didn't even look at his weight. I didn't make fun of, there's nothing. There was nothing coming from me to make this a challenge. What is happening?
Yeah, this is a conversation, dude, not a competition.
Right. Because what happened afterwards, which I think about, there's your daughter.
I see her. Misty.
Oh, my keys.
Yeah, they're not in here, sweetie.
Okay.
She's looking for her keys. She's got to go.
Have fun.
I know.
Oh, that's so sweet. Is that because my brother doesn't drive, we are his ride.
So please don't tell me that. Please don't tell me this is fixing to happen.
What?
You have to take him back home.
Journey,
your strength is amazing to me. I just want you to know that.
My husband's driving and I'm driving and we were both shocked. Because he's like, "Hey, can you give me a ride?"
I don't even know what to respond to that.
I'm falling apart because my mom just died. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you want a ride.
Wow.
And I'm like, whatever.
Wow.
I'm like, at least I'm not alone with him because I would not be alone. No, I'm never, ever putting myself in that position again.
Very smart.
And so, yeah, he sat talking, and I said, I was mainly quiet. I would say one-word answers, but he was wanting to talk. And my husband was like, "He's the weirdest person I've ever met." Because my husband had no connection with my mom because she barely talked to me, and he knows how she treated me.
Yeah.
And treated Kate like, just up and leave Texas and
Yeah.
don't see you for 9 years and don't even tell you the real address that she's at. Only a P.O. box. That's enough. And because I didn't get the address from her. I got the address from the lady that was taking care of her that only knew her
Right.
for 2 months.
You know, the
It doesn't make any sense.
so I remember you saying that you went back to the house and you stayed
For 5 hours
for 5 hours. Yeah.
going through any of her stuff because I flat out told my husband I'm not coming back here. And he's like, no.
Right.
And then just recently, because I started talking about it, he's like, I feel bad we never went back before we left, like to check in on him. And I was like,
No. It's not your responsibility.
He was fine with it. Because you were there. He did not want to be around you. He couldn't do anything. He had no control.
Right.
And so he left me and my husband in the bedroom while he kept calling relatives going, yep, she died.
Wow.
No, he was just, yeah, no, she passed away this morning or this afternoon. Yeah, he was declining, it happened real fast. I'm hearing and then he would call the next person and I'm just like, how can he do this? Like, is there any connection, any emotional connection? Because he was closer to my mom than I was.
Yeah, but that was a very toxic relationship that fed off each other.
Yeah. And so I'm like, it doesn't matter if my back is in so much pain right now because I had to move every 30 minutes still.
Yeah.
Or I would go numb. So I was going numb, but I was like,
dysfunctional, right, Kathy?
No.
Yes. Kathy says dysfunctional.
Yes. So here all of a sudden I find a step stool that looked like the ABCs and 1, 2, 3, kind of like really old and not there anymore. But I'm like, I've never seen this before. And then I'm walking around the house going, is this important? Mom, speak to me. Is this because I have to pay? I can't. We know it's not worth loading up a truck and driving all the way back or mailing it. It's just not. So whatever can fit in my suitcase.
Right. To fly back with.
That's it. And so I found a ton of pictures and my brother didn't want anything unless it was valuable. If you find something valuable, we'll split it.
Wow.
Pictures, he wanted some.
Yeah, well, that's why I would say, well, what's your definition of valuable and mine? It's totally different.
Yeah.
Definitions there.
Yeah. It was just memorabilia.
Yeah.
A lot of bills that I found. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. While we were there, I was there that one day, coming back, the power shut off. The power just went out. I was trying.
Wow.
My mom forgot to pay the bill. Because I joked, oh, Mom, did you pay the bill? My brother called and was like, yep, my mom didn't pay the bill for 2 months. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that's not your...
So fun. Yeah. No, I didn't even stay there. I mean, I was cleaning in the dark, trying to get her bed as my bed. But it's just a little... so dysfunctional. I was like, I'm not coming back. I'm never seeing this person again, even though he's my brother. I don't care. Lose my number.
Right.
We're going to call anyways. What is he going to do? Ask for help? And so we flew. Oh, well, we had 2 more days, but we only stayed 1 more day. And my husband took me to the Rose Garden to Yeah. And I stepped on the I I got very close to texting ants. I have a picture of my whole foot. So it looked like barbs, like from stickers or like from weed, from a plant. But I was covered in ants and they all bit at the same time. And I'm hopping on one foot. And my husband's like,
That's what they do, though. They wait until they're all in
And I'm
place.
like, I was like, and then he started hitting my foot. Like, what's this? And I'm like, thanks, Mom.
You sound like me. That's what, yeah.
So we would just walked around, and because we didn't get any sleep the night before, I mean, we spent 5 hours going through whatever. I still have all the photos that I have not gone through. I mean, I have like 1920, 1930s photos.
Yeah.
Of the Napa farm that she grew up on and her siblings. So I'm like, I've never seen these before. I wish my mom talked to me about it. So
yeah, but you did what you had to do. You've protected yourself from.
Yeah.
And I honestly am in awe of you, Journey, that you actually found your place I mean, as you were raised in this toxic environment, you found your place to go that kept you safe, that kept your head safe, that kept your strength, it kept your humanity. You turned out nothing like a statistic.
Yeah. My husband says I'm very unique.
You are, and you're very needed.
Instead of going mainstream and finding stuff to cover it up, like addiction or anything,
Right.
I feel I only want to help people, and I only want people to be happy.
And you're definitely doing that.
Thank you.
Definitely doing that.
So my mom has a lot of family, but what happened, and I found out at my aunt's memorial when I went into Arizona, when I saw her 9 years after she left for Texas, I found out from my uncles what had really happened. Her, because I had all these cousins, my age, above and below, and aunts and uncles, and then all of a sudden nothing. My mom didn't like her sisters telling her how, like, you have 2 young babies, you cannot bring men back home from a bar. Because she said that, she cut everyone out. And so we had so many family, then nothing, because my mom didn't like what was said to her. So to find that out as an adult, and I have a 9-year-old, even if I don't like because I don't like my father-in-law, I don't.
Right.
But to take that away from my daughter, any type of relationship, is absolutely deplorable, disgusting, and selfish.
I agree.
And I never want to minimize her family just because I felt like it. It's not for me to decide. It's not always about the one person. And that's where I think a lot of people forget. Even though you really don't want to do something, it isn't about you. It's about another person maybe needing it. But then also, don't forget your safety. Don't forget your mental health. So there's always a balance.
And you seem to have found that.
I hope so. Yeah, it took me 1 year and 4 months, and I got off with permanent disability. I went back in and said, you were wrong. And I started working retail, even though I've been an EMT. I've been a para educator with special ed. I'm finding my third career, trying to figure it out. I'm fighting this cult.
And you're doing
Yeah.
an amazing job.
Yeah.
I just got a text from somebody that is also fighting this cult that wanted me to tell you something because she can't be here in there right now. If your mom is more upset about you saying she hurt you than she is that she hurt you, that's important. So if your mom is more upset about you saying she hurt you than she is that she hurt you, that's important.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love it. Love it, Cynthia.
Yeah, no, it was definitely anything challenging about her actions. It was all about that.
Yeah.
She could not take criticism, even
And
though
that's
just, hey, this happened.
yeah. Um, okay. So today, let's fast forward to today.
So last year I ran my first 5K, and a month
Yes.
after that, on September 11th, I ran my first marathon. I only made it
Well,
halfway because I overextended one of my hips. Like
hey,
I was like, I think I found a new joint, new muscle type thing. And I was
the fact that you
yeah,
attempted a marathon is way more than I could do.
because I was determined to prove these doctors wrong. I still
And
struggle with stenosis, and I have a possible another fusion because I'm so young. They said you'll probably be back, and because they just deteriorate your vertebrae once you
I think that
do.
has a lot to do with being a medic. We all seem to end up in the same
I
spot.
know, I
We
know,
really do.
but I am determined to be mobile as long as I can. Um, this February, though, I broke my wrist really bad.
Yes.
But in my mind, I was like, just wrap it up and let's go.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that simple.
I know. I popped it completely off the joint.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, if it came off with the joint, you're disabled. But thankfully, you popped it off before, but you have all this stuff. And so I'm still going through physical therapy. They did not start physical therapy while it was healing, while the bone was healing. So that's why
Right.
I'm stuck with pain in certain areas that I'm not supposed to. And so I'm figuring out that disability, but my back, I am strong. I need to get back to strengthening every single day and stretching. I have been unable to because this does not want any weight, and of course, getting down. And
And you've also been doing so much work on the computer and on all this research, and
yes, so
that's
keeping my mind busy, and I'm just finding life and living and enjoyment about it. So I'm gonna keep going.
that really warms my heart just to see the outcome of what such a terrible situation that you were in. And look at you. I mean, Journey, none of that was your fault ever. And look what you went above and beyond probably what anybody would do. And look at you and look at your daughter and look at your family and look what you're doing. You're saving other children. I mean, I couldn't say how proud I am of you. You're the epitome of strength.
Thank you.
I don't know how far y'all got on here, but I do want to read some more questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Did y'all go to the start questions?
Just a few, but
Okay. There's Katie.
oh, thank you.
I agree, Katie. She did win the gold medal in resilience. She's amazing. Indigo twin. People who are estranged from their family do it as a last resort. It's heartbreaking to witness in real time the effects of how that toxic dynamic hurt the survivors years later. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kathy Ann. There you go. For you.
Do you personally believe your brother gaslighting you and his behavior was due to how differently he was raised compared to you? How you were treated different? Yes. My mom, because he was a guy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say something that's absolutely disgusting.
Go for it.
Flat
Trigger
out-
warning.
Yep, trigger warning. Oh, how did it start? She was like, just because you have something in between your legs doesn't mean you know everything.
Wow.
You said that to him when he was a young teenager.
Wow.
I was in the room when she said that. And of course, you can't say anything because it has nothing to do with me. Even though it's happening right.
Right.
And I walked away.
Wow, Journey.
Just the amount. So I got shoes every 2 years, and I only had one pair. And my feet grown. I just learned I've been wearing the wrong size shoe, even last year in the marathon.
Oh, wow.
Because of that reason, I didn't get shoes. My brother got new shoes every 6 months.
Yeah. That was definitely a toxic.
Yeah. And he got more privileges because he was a guy.
Exactly. I totally understand that.
And
in the dynamic with a possible narcissistic parent, there is a golden versus scapegoat child. Absolutely, Indigo. It sounds like they created the dynamic, but you chose to be a good person.
yeah. And
you did.
And I think in his light, because he had so much on his shoulders to what's looked at, but the outside world really did not like it. No one liked his personality. All the guys hated his cocky attitude, hated him. And then they looked at me and were like, that's the little sister.
Yeah, but when we were talking, you were telling me you made all those moments that were so bad, you made into happy moments for yourself.
Right. And I was this sweet little girl that
yeah.
Even those guys, I knew who they were. I knew that they fought with my brother every single day, or my brother would get suspended or this. And I'd just be like, and it's like, wow, okay, she's related to him. So yeah, no.
Can't pick your relatives.
But I think he was always jealous of me, thinking I got everying. And I didn't get a thing. And
we'll talk about that later. I don't know. I'm not sure that had to do with it.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't there. I can't say. I'm just my opinion. I'll talk to you about that.
I don't know. I have no idea. I just feel like everything I had, he wanted.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
So,
Kathy Ann says, amazing how quickly they break down when someone without attachment or fear says enough, like the nurse, bless her. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because they knew, because I called every week complaining he should not be.
Right. He was not even in any capacity. Counting her calories.
They watched him and her relationship and knew what I was talking about. I was not exaggerating. I was understating the actual, this should not be okay.
No, it shouldn't.
No. So, I mean,
no, Kathy,
by other people witnessing, because I wasn't allowed to talk outside of the house. I was not, that's no one's business. And for them to see it and display it so over, this is what it is, because my mom would pretend. And I heard from all her friends, she's like, you were her little princess. She loved you so much. What are you talking about? because my mom would just be like, la, 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 you get in here. Da, da, da. It's like, how are you two different people? So her friends have no idea she was mean and nasty to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. I'm glad you had a friend. Because then the
We
one
have
was like, she's faking it. I was like, yeah, she is.
We have several comments like Kathy said. I'm gonna let you read that one, but she's right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we've got one right behind it. And he did not say that. The audacity. That's just. And then we love you, Journey. Absolutely, we do.
Thank you.
Yes, we absolutely do. And I am back to the actual chat now. Okay. All right. So now you're fighting cults.
Yes.
All right, cults. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Sounds like you've made a lot of progress, more than most.
Yep. And I'm
very proud of that.
I still have several projects to do. I need to.
That makes me smile so big because you've made more progress than I've seen. I mean, I don't know what's going to become of it, but
Right.
I know that. But I know what you've done, and that's more than most can get done.
Right.
So they got to hear these. They got to hear them. Surge, all of them. I mean, they got to hear them. How many books are written? How many stories are out here being told? How many reports have been made? I mean, there's no way that somebody can just keep turning a blind eye to this.
Right. Right.
And I was so proud to hear that that they had you stay and actually do something.
No, yeah. And I wasn't going to leave without actually saying, I just didn't want to be dismissed. So I was careful with my words and making sure it's, it is legit, but for them to see it as legit, because I've experienced that type of control and knowing how someone thinks. And I'm just coming from a place of, I have all this information. Please look at it. Please look at it. And as soon as he only wrote one page, one tiny tablet. It was, the small legal notepad. And he filled it up and he's like, okay, it's an active, open investigation. And here's the deal, and telling me I can't ask any questions or anything because it involves an individual. But I'm like, that's all I need to know. I would like to know if it's concluded or dismissed, but at least he heard me out.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Katie said,
yeah. Yeah.
That's the truth, Katie.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were even though we're only 13 months apart, we were two completely polar opposite people and didn't understand each other at all. And I was trying to create my own happy space. That's why I always shut my door, played music. Thankfully, I could do I was never really told to clean my room. Only when I got really, really bad. She's like, you ain't leaving here. Meaning like
that's all of us.
Hoarders type. And that's what I'm working on. I've noticed I'm kind of a hoarder, not bad, but my nightstand is a hoarder's mess, like of what would a house be. And it's always that way because I feel comfortable. And then now I'm overwhelmed. Now I'm trying to fix it. But I'm like, I'm just replacing it in a different area. I don't know how to put it away. And my husband's like, well, just take your time. You'll figure it out. But I'm like, but I have so much stuff.
Yeah, I have been doing the same thing, cleaning house because I have no more cabinets. I have no room. I have no drawers. I have nothing. Yeah. It's all full. Now it's overflowing everywhere else. Like So
Right.
it's
So I have my tendencies of like, this is mine and you
Yeah.
can't take it. So I'm still learning who I am as a person and evolving. And
as I hope we all are.
I just want the best for people. And if they want, and that's the thing, if you want to go into that building and you're an adult and you give permission to be subject to whatever, have at it. Because I couldn't control, like any of the chaos that I grew up with, and I would not want to control that area because I'm like, that's not me. I'm gonna go over here and create my own space. So
Yeah.
if someone wants to have that craziness, fine. But
Hey,
those
sun is sunrise dawn.
or fraud or certain things, I'm gonna expose.
Yeah.
I'm gonna expose it. It will come to light. So
And
that's
I believe that.
yep. Because you
That's
cannot do people wrong. I will
no.
not stand for it. If I know about it, I will not stand for it.
Especially these children that have nobody to stand up for them. No one stood up for them.
Nope. Well, because the parents don't know. They're not orphans.
Or they're complicit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think they're complicit because they're not getting any of the revenue that went from purchasing the pictures. The that person, that teacher or whatever,
Yeah.
and Perth has talked to the guy that was a volunteer minister and knew these people,
Mhm.
and said that he was embezzling at another school. So
Wow.
I'm like, well, if that's all documented, it's gonna be known now. Everything
Yeah.
that you do in the dark is gonna come to light, regardless. Whenever, however long, but I'm hearing
I agree.
things up. I'm like, let's go.
No, I agree with you.
Mm-mm.
Look, okay, so Kathy, yeah, me too. I watched that. The Nashville org. I'm going to tell you. I go to well before the pandemic. 2 to 3 times a year. Nashville. It's my home away from home, and I've never seen anyone at that org, and I was shocked to even see it because I'm there all the time. But it's right there downtown, and when you're going, and I'm like I think it was like maybe 2016, 17 that I actually noticed it was there. I was like, wait a minute, did that just say Church of Scientology? I was like, what? And we walked back and I looked and I was like, there's no one here. Never gave it another thought. And then, come to find out that's where Reese's dad is at, and that's his. And I'm like, I never see anyone there. I'm there too many times not to have noticed that building. There's no one in there. And Reese showed that yesterday. There's no one there.
Right.
But there was a child that walked in there and their
Right.
parent. So there's still children that cannot consent to this bullcrap.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Well, Katie says we have to learn to stand up for ourselves, and it's a hard road, but we can do it. We can, and we can do hard things.
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
think we can do more. You're fine, Blake. I think we can do more than most. And I say that because we've all been, we've all had trauma. We've been raised in similar situations, things like that. But when we come out, we care, we love, and we don't let it define us. And that is why I say we can do hard things.
Yeah. Definitely.
So oh no. I'm so sorry. I have work. So like I told you, I'm trying not to be rude. Just had my own call this week. Okay, so anything else you want to let us know before I got to be mindful of your time. I kept you on so long yesterday.
That's okay. I'm thankful for all the support and love. I still don't expect it. I still don't expect any subscribers for my YouTube channel.
Oh, your channel's all over the place
Voice
over here. They've been
and
posting in the chat like crazy. Yeah, you'll definitely have it.
thank you.
If
I just use my
please
voice.
support her journey. Support Journey's journey.
Yeah, and that's why it's called that. I'm still continuing, and I am going to
Likey.
use my voice for
Absolutely.
lives, and informed consent is what I'm going for.
Yes.
Know all of it, and whatever's illegal reported. That's the only thing I can do on my part. So, and I will do that.
Yes, this for the never ends. Anybody in here that hasn't already heard, please go to Fat Grammy's, the docs for the never end claims. Do this, please do this. It takes all of us, all voices matter.
Yes. No, even if you don't think it will do anything, it actually will. I mean, I never expected ever to go down to an FBI office, but I did.
You did it.
Mm-hmm.
No. And then, of course, everybody, there's Journey's channel. If you have not subscribed to her, please subscribe to her. You're missing out. And so,
yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to stay in touch. You know that. So I'm going to stay in touch, and I'm sure you will be back on here with soon as soon as you'll agree to come back, because I just think what you're doing definitely needs to be told.
Thank you.
And I know that we're about mental health. Yes, absolutely. Her channel, so you don't miss the FBI updates, and if they're available.
Yep.
And what else is going on? That she's continuing this.
Yes.
And
Perth Scientology audit. We've done some collabs about what's going on, that now the FBI is.
Can y'all post T's link?
Because I didn't do it on mine, but we collabed on hers. And
okay.
We talk about it. We talk about both of our updates. So one of the donation sites has been taken down for the sustainable villages. Yep. Mm-hmm. So right now it's strictly donating to people. It's not to the site or to, yeah. So she's doing a lot. I'm doing a lot. This guy in Africa we call is Ricky. He is willing to test everything and do what he needs to do. So all three of us from different countries are following this story and updating. So
no, that's there's T's.
Yep. T is amazing.
Yes, she is. Yes, I was surprised, but then I looked at the time. I was like, wait a minute. She's probably sleeping right now.
Oh yeah.
So
yep.
But yeah, she's go get them.
Oh yeah, because I'm learning, because I'm still timid. I don't want to approach people. I don't want to, like bother them. She's like, you ask the questions. You go up to.
So I'll tell you. I have an opinion on that. And that's my opinion and only my opinion. I think everybody has their own special way of being able to fight this cult. I did try, and everybody that knows me knows I don't like the word try, because I just feel like that's a cop out. But unless like you're trying new things, something like that. But if it's, I'll try to do that. No, you'll either do it and fail, or you'll do it and succeed. But either way, you're going to learn a new way to do it. To me, that when you get into the therapy side of it, but I'm talking like as in new things. So I tried new things. I went to the Austin org. I did protest. I found it's not for me. Not the screaming and the hollering.
No.
I did it. Now I lost my whole crap about me. I lost my whole head, my whole heart, and everything within me when I saw a child being brought in there. And I was 2 feet away from this child, and I just wanted to grab him. And then I lost it when these two elderly people had walkers and they couldn't get up on the sidewalk, but nobody would come out of there and help them. We helped them.
Yeah.
I'm like, where in the hell is some compassion around here and just manners?
Right. And
if you're trying to save mankind, then try to be nice about it.
Right.
You know,
there's no human touch.
None.
I don't just mean physical touch. I mean, like,
None.
any inquiry of how you are, or like, hey, may I help you? Well, let me open the door for you.
No, yeah, see, we couldn't touch the door. We'd already been trespassed, so we couldn't just touch the door.
Right.
But we got them up to the, and then of course the body routers come out and grab them. But where were you when they're trying to get up on the sidewalk in the middle of a busy street called Guadalupe in the middle of Austin, Texas? That is where the busiest street in Austin is, well, one of them. And I'm like, oh my Lord. I was just like, I cannot do the screaming. I tried. I did it there. I lost my shit.
Right.
I did. Watching that child be brought in there and watching those two elderly people. I did lose it, and I did scream, and I did holler, and I did tell everybody that walked by, and all those, and it was graduation weekend from UT, so we had so many people coming by. But that is not something that I felt comfortable doing. Okay. And so I went back and I had an epiphany. I asked Reese, I said, Reese, does protesting do any good to people that are inside Scientology? Because she's hadn't been out but a year and a half. And she said, no. She said, we're taught not to listen to that. She said, but what it does do is it keeps people from going in.
Yeah.
And I do believe her. I have to listen to her, but she was raised in it for 38 years.
Right.
She said, you may get one or two, you may plant those seeds, but pretty much once they're in, they're in. If they've been born in, it takes the few that have had the courage to escape. But she said, basically, you're doing the best by not getting anybody else in there. Because I only had like one real interaction, and that's when this couple turned around and said, who's paying you to spread hate? I said, first of all, I'm not spreading hate. I said, and second of all, nobody sure the hell is paying me nothing.
Right.
They literally have a whole different, and then of course we were sent out to be handled by, and it was just a distraction because I had Kathy Ann and Red on my camera at all times, and they were looking around, and we were looking for, I forgot Kathy Ann had them all named that were stalking and change. He would go in and change shirts and come back out and taking my picture. I said, hi, but yeah, it was just, it was really, really, it was a new eye-opening experience. It's not something that is for me. I would rather give somebody a platform to speak on, and I would rather do, maybe some more behind the scenes, but being out front there, I'm not that kind of person to do that. I think all my heart goes out to everyone that can do that make a difference. They do. They've kept so many people out. Oh, Kathy can't remember their name. Larkin Larry was one of them. Larkin Larry. We were naming them all because they were like freaking me out. I was by myself, first of all.
Oh.
Everybody hadn't gotten there yet, so I was by myself. And so, yeah, and they were just like, I was like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. So, but then because my roommate that was with me, she had went down to get her something to eat and got lost. And she was like trying to she kept trying to, but I had one phone playing Laura's music because they set the boom box out the door with the music blaring. So I had one, and then my other phone was on a live, and I'm like going, I can't even answer her. She was like, I'm lost. I don't know back. Please send me your location. I'm like, what if that already took me? Let's see really quick. What do we have? I can't hardly see. My eyes are burning. Let's see. Oh, yes. I agree with Kathy Ann. Thank you for sharing and believe in being the strongest things of all, but vulnerable. Absolutely. Yeah, I think I've already showed that, but I'm going to show it again. Keilah. And then we have Perth. There's T. And then And then Blake has, yeah, there's no one single way to open their eyes or to get their attention. You have to do things differently over and over again because everyone uses their TRs differently. Absolutely right. Oh, and this is to you.
Oh, thanks, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Yeah, I missed your Friday post because that's when T and I went live. It was her Saturday, not my Saturday, that I was thinking I was going live.
You all have valuable contributions. These mental health awareness videos are absolutely. Thank you, Indigo. Thank you. I really do. I thank you. What does Blake say? I think other Scientologists are prepped to handle protesters in different ways based on what other protesters have done. Do you think the protesting creates more ideas for different TRs? They can't change their tech though. That's the thing.
So I've went out to the Sacramento org several different times, and I need to make my way back out there because there's a person there that was at the Gold Base with Jefferson Hawkins that I still need to relay this message because she's a second gen and in trouble. That's why she's there at the SAC org doing its states, like taking out trash, cleaning rooms, cleaning toilets. That's all. That's her job. So I started out angry and Dio came and I'm just like, what'd you do to pull me in? Like, and I'm like, this isn't me. And so
right.
what I do now is really just have my camera, and when they pass me, I say hello. Most of them will say hello back.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Some do not. Someone said something under their that was not kind. And I said, excuse me, what'd you say? And she kept going. I was like, oh, okay, I thought you said something. And I just kept going. And then there was this one guy that I said, have a good night. He literally unscrewed his water, pretended to act like I'm not there. And I'm like, oh, okay. Keeping your CRs in? You're doing a great job. Yep. Stay safe. Have a good night. Because I was like, he is going to ignore me. But I had nothing else to say other than, like, hey, I exist. You exist. We have different views, and it's okay.
But we exist.
It's okay. It's okay to talk to someone.
I thought communication. That's right. I did say that over and over. Communication, But,
yeah. But I was like, you know what? You have a right not to want to talk to me. That's fine. But I know it's your TRs because you're acting like you're doing anything or something else.
And that's another thing that I did. That's what I started using their language their language to them against them. Like, well, if communication is a universal solvent, then why aren't you practicing that? That's just everything that I could think of, but I had to have Kathy actually think of it because I was scared to death. Right. And it was a very eye-opening experience, but it's just something that I don't think that is not for me. So
yeah, the 3 times.
Now the chalk tech, I had fun. I had fun doing chalk.
The 3 times that I was down there to try to relay my message because I cannot go into the org because I've been.
I wonder why.
But it was one of those things where they thought the sidewalk included.
Nope.
So now they're like, well, I didn't do anything. So they don't call the cops on me just because I exist. But the 3 times that I was just to relay this message, the big guy that I do have a lot of questions. Can I submit my questions to you since so he has several hats, is what they call those hatted. He is the ED of Day, which is the big guy. And he's also the public's affair. He is appointed by California State as a leader of the community.
Oh, wow.
But they do not know his extracurriculum, which is the regional director of California for Stan League. So every single
Oh,
celebrity
Jesus.
that is smeared on websites and campaigns, that's him approving them. Him.
Oh, well, they don't
Him.
like me on Twitter.
Not everybody remembers
Sorry.
me, but his eyes get big when he sees me. And he was like, oh, shut this down. But I quickly ran away because I was like, I'm doing recon work, but I'd run into the one guy that I'm like, at any other time, I would love to run into you. But I'm
Right.
like, I'm trying not to get the org shut down because I want her to come outside. Come throw out some trash. Come, spray out down a rug.
I can't. Yeah.
Do something.
Well, they don't.
Come out and clean. But otherwise,
He
she
doesn't
doesn't
like
leave.
me then too much because I was giving them hell on Twitter, on X, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, he's on X too.
Yeah, no, I've given him hell.
No, personal.
Oh, personal. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to dox him personally. So.
He has a Twitter account.
Oh, I will find it.
He also has another personal just for family and really business because he's a realtor. But
I will. I love to do research
with all these extra hats that he's in charge of.
Yeah.
So I am being watched on my Sacramento page. And so I know that for sure.
Hang on just a second. I've got a question right here. Okay, so are you? No, I want to know if this person is like trying to be a troll or trying to be asking a serious question.
This one, I think I recognize this. No, I think he's a troll.
I think so because of the several things of. I don't know. I don't know
No,
who it is, but I can answer that question. David Miscavige did a good interview on TV in 1994. Okay, so first of all, what were you watching? Because it sure the heck was not the same thing I was watching.
Why has he never done a TV interview since?
He hasn't done one since. You know why? Because he did such a bad job on that. That was not a win. That was a definite L.
I love. Oh gosh, he was a talk show host. Phil Donahue. Did an interview with
Kathy. Check that out, please.
So yeah, no, I think he's a troll. But hello, have a great day.
Yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome here as long as you don't cause trouble. Trolls are welcome, just don't cause any trouble, please. Thank you.
No,
But he did not do a good interview.
I get a lot of that's not true in my chats, so I know I'm reaching someone. And when
there you go. We say we have a zero tolerance policy here. It's a zero tolerance. Yeah, but like he didn't do a good interview. He didn't do a good job interviewing, in my opinion, but he did a terrific job making himself look absolutely freaking insane, which he is.
Yep.
Yep. You are entitled to your opinion.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
I agree with you. Though.
Running into that guy.
I'm just looking at there was like I don't know what this means.
That's not a word.
I don't know what that means, and I don't know what this means. I'm going back. I've seen him several times comment. Yeah. That's why I'm wondering.
I think I definitely remember that name in another chat.
Okay.
But when I
like this right here.
I had the Texas Christmas.
No.
Wait a minute. For tires, and you can lift your car.
And I don't know if you have autocorrect though, or spell check.
But so many centimeters.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Yeah. No,
okay, so I think we're gonna end that here. It got kind of weird on me.
No, they're trying to shame. So they have the same tactics.
I knew we were gonna be on the target because you with the what you come on here and said and everything, and that's fine. We are a zero. I will say this again. We are a zero tolerance channel. We are a mental health channel, and you're talking to some SP, so you might not supposed to be in here.
No, they think they can handle us, so only the trusted few.
Well, I can promise you can't handle someone that's never been in Scientology. So, that's
they definitely can't handle me.
They sure can't handle me. They've tried.
You have no idea who you're dealing
No,
with.
they've tried. They've got nowhere.
I want someone to come and confront me.
Oh no, they've come. They've come. They've come. And that we already had a plan. We already knew that today this would probably be full. I noticed before that we already had lurkers in here at the very beginning that weren't chatting or anything. So
And
it's okay.
my name and me being followed from SAC is because he needs to handle me himself because of how big he is. And I don't think it's really gone up to gold or really like a knowledge report because he can handle celebrities, so whatever. But yeah, it's quite interesting because he passed me on the stairway. I was eating a salad and I was not live for that purpose to run into her. And he's about to go up the elevator and something's up that elevator. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna find out because he went up without anything in his hand, but he saw me, took a double look, and then went like hide. Like he's just gonna stand there. I started laughing after he left. I'm like, you really think I don't notice you? I know you know who I am. So.
Well, Jack of Trades, if you're not a bad person, you are welcome here. I just didn't understand some of your questions, and that's perfectly fine. We may just not be on the same wavelength here. I just don't want you to be someone trying to cause harm in this area. This is a very safe space, but you're more than welcome in here at any time. And we are Mental Health Matters. We are not SPTV. We are Mental Health Matters. So you are more than welcome in this space as long as it's you keep it a safe space.
I really hope you're well, and I do not condone any putting down. So if someone is above you, your senior, and giving you absolutely hell, you have the
You're
right.
70 years old?
No, I will not take this. I have rights.
You have rights.
Yep. I hope you are well, and you can believe whatever you want to believe, but abuse and actually dehumanization is something I do not stand for, and I will fight for your rights even if you don't want them. Whenever you do change your mind or have a different opinion, because you can, I will be here for you fighting those rights because you have them. So
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
That's what we're all here for.
Yep. Because I don't care if we disagree on many things. I do not care. If you agree on abuse, well, I'll be fighting not you, but I will be fighting for everyone's rights not to be abused. So.
But what
not and you.
And if the main thing goes, if you're over 21, you're over 18, you're an adult, whatever choices that people make, they make. But if you're not over 18, you do not have to. This is not okay. Kids cannot consent.
Right.
So
and it's been debunked. Kids are not small adults in did I say small?
Adults is small bodies. Yes, absolutely not. They are not. Children are children.
It's been debunked, and so that is no longer part of your religion. It's not a belief. It's factual that they actually cannot draw a circle until around the age of 5 because their brain has not formed together. So that whole under the religious thing, if you bring that up to court, the law says differently. So, yep.
We're out here fighting for your rights.
Yep.
Every day.
And I exist whether you like it or not. I do not wish anyone harm, and I do not wish anybody to disappear or be canceled.
Right.
Or to go away. No. You have every right to be here on Earth just like I do. But if you want to cause harm to everyone around you,
Rosemary, absolutely.
There is.
Oh God, Katie. Oh, wait, Blake jumped in before I do. Yes, Blake. I mean, before I could get to Katie's, but yes, Blake, you're right. Children are children. They cannot consent, and elders cannot fend for themselves. Fight for the rights of children and for the care of elders. And here we go.
Yep.
Jack, just look at what they did to Rosemary and all the elderly abuse. Please find Tori Magoo, and she is more in your age range. Tori Magoo is who I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
I want to be
She
just like
fights
Tori.
for free speech as well.
Yes, she does.
That's what made her stop. You're stopping me from having free speech, and others from
Absolutely.
free speech. So, if you know,
Tori is the epitome of cool.
yep, exactly.
But okay, guys, so I want to thank all of you and all your for all your questions, and thank you all for being here. Thank you all for please wait. Let's see. I think that horse racing and Scientology are similar because they're both addictive and both you will lose money. That is very true, Jack of Trades. I'm going to agree with you on that one. Wow. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the truth. That's truth right there. I agree with you on that, Jack. So, but thank you all for being here and for supporting Journey once again. Please subscribe to her channel. And T Perth, she's like those two are just killing it. They're doing great, and we're gonna have a Journey back on, and T, and hopefully T and Journey can come back on at the same time. That would be great, and I'll have to change the timing around, which is perfectly fine because actually there's talking about having this going 24 hours and having a night crew and a day crew, and like we have all kind of dreams. So no, it's okay. The sunrise dawn. We're fixing to get. I just want to thank all of you though for being here. Thank my mods. Thank Marilyn for stepping in when I gave her. I didn't even give her any notice. I just like called and I was like, please. She said, sure. I love you, Marilyn, and I thank you for that.
Yes.
And I just thank you, Journey.
Yes, thank you so much for the platform.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of the strength that you have shown. I'm so proud of how your daughter is. I mean, your daughter is amazing. She's got your strength and your passion and like I told you this morning when I love y'all all. Yes, Indigo. When I was talking on the phone with you, it's okay. Spoil them all you want. She's yours.
Yeah.
And you've done great.
Really blessed. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. And we will, if you want to hang around, Journey, we will just for a minute. And I will see all of you on the next one. I don't know when our next we may be back on later today. I'm not sure yet. Just for a recap, Gretchen and I, but she couldn't be here for this today. She may be available this evening. I'm not sure, but either way, I will let everybody know that soon what our next show is going to be. And with that, everybody have a very blessed and great day, and we will talk to you on the next time.